And that's that, you guys. We have booked our place into the next round of the FA Cup. Our next opponents are going to be against Barnsley, who beat Norwich City 1-0. And on that basis, I am happy about the result today. But hold on a second, let's keep things absolutely real. Credit to Luton Town for putting up a game first. I mean, most teams will just sit back, defend the entire 90 and, play with no bravery. But, they gave it a go. They made an attempt, they tried to press us high, and they deservedly got a goal in very dubious circumstances, which I'll touch upon later on in this review. However, the reality is, a club like us were expected to get the win today, so us as fans were looking at more details. We were looking at individual performances. We wanted to see how the system was going to be in the game today, and of course, we were expecting a lot of goals. So, on that notion, I've got slightly mixed feelings, and to express myself in this match review, I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons in this game today because I feel that's the fairest way to just review what I saw. And to kick things off first, I'm going to be using OneFootball to break down the lineup that we saw from Lampard today. So first observations were this was like a 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2 in a sense, where Timo Werner had a free role to play, and with this system it meant that Werner's starting position was withdrawn from the play. And modern day football, being withdrawn from the play is very, very good. It makes your team a lot more dangerous because, of course, these guys can't get marks when they're entering inside the box. And, Werner's known for his acceleration in short distances. The system at Leipzig last season really got the ultimate best out of Werner in that sense. However, it kind of carried him with his deficiencies. We know Werner isn't the most complete player at this point in time. But I think maybe over time, this is something you can definitely improve upon. So, of course, you guys, in the description below, download OneFootball. So many handy features straight from after the game. You want to vote for your man of the match, see the lineup, see the stats. The app is the perfect hub for you. As I'm stressing, you'll find a link below in the description. Now, I want to start this match review by speaking about Timo Werner. For me, I feel like his performance really symbolized the pros and cons that I felt after seeing this game. Now, from the pro point of view, Werner's footballing performance was good, and seeing him playing off of Tammy, seeing him playing in a more withdrawn role, which is really key in modern day football now. When you're withdrawn from the play, it means that you're not marked. And for someone like Timo Werner, that's always been known for his ability to make those late arrivals inside the box due to his incredible acceleration, which Leipzig found an entire system to get the very best out of that because of how good it is. We saw how he could potentially, hopefully, find opportunities to get that confidence back in front of goal. Let's see what happens. I'll be curious to know if Lampard does the same thing against Wolves, or maybe he might go for Kai Havertz instead of Werner. We'll find out, you guys. But on that basis, it was good. However, the finishing, the thing that we spent a lot of money on, was not there again today. And I mean, listen, I don't have to tell Werner this. We all saw Werner's reaction on TV today. He looked angry. He was pulling and stretching his shirt. He knows someone of his standards should be burying opportunities like that. So when that penalty came, a penalty that came without any pressure in the game, because essentially this was something to do to stat pads, it was poor. The technique was off, not once looking at the keeper. Just looked at the ball, hit it blindly in the middle. I'm just thinking, come on, that is below your standards. I've seen you take penalties for Leipzig. That was below your standards, man. And, let's at least hope that Werner can take some confidence from his performance into future games at least. However, I still feel like he doesn't get found effectively enough. And, some type of strikers like Werner, when you're at a club like RB Leipzig, your teammates are constantly only looking for you. So it's no surprise why you're going to have so many goals. But when you come to big clubs where lots of players can score goals and take responsibility, they're not always going to look for you when they know they can score themselves. So this is why I feel Werner can improve as a player, because let's not pretend that we signed a guy that was the complete baller. Of course not. But I think over time, once he gets used to the intensity of the league at least, I'm hopeful at least, you guys. Another pro that I want to speak about too was the way we use our midfield. Now, as I keep stressing all the time, we see formations like 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, etc, etc. But when you actually watch us play in-game, the formations constantly adapt and change as the game goes on. So this is why I don't really put too much emphasis on what formation we're starting with, because as we see, Ziyech playing a free role, times where we've got three guys inside the box, and Tammy, Werner and Pulisic making a 4-3-3. This is the way we want to play. We see it working against very weak opposition. For me and for all of us, it's about seeing that translated against the big boys, as I said before. But, you know, I like how Lampard does certain tweaks for individuals. I mean, Billy Gilmour, for example, his one weakness is that he doesn't have the strength or the power. However, you know, this guy's ability to play the forward pass, to just dictate the game properly, playing at tempo and speed, playing line-breaking passes, playing between the lines is key. And Lampard helps minimise his deficiencies by having guys like Reece James and Emerson tucking into midfield to offer more defensive support when it comes to defending against the counter-attack. Now, some guys might say, why isn't Lampard doing that for Jorginho? The reality is that Jorginho and Gilmour are two different players. And in regista, I keep hearing only Jorginho is a regista. Not everyone that plays as a deep line playmaker is a regista. We've got to make that distinction clear. But of course, I'm hoping maybe that we are going to see him play against Wolves, because that's the quality we need in midfield, man. Anyway, speaking about another player that typified a lot of the positive things we did was Hakim Ziyech. Now, you know, playing in that free role, essentially can move to the left, move midfield, move to the right. It suits a player like Ziyech, who, if you guys have seen him play for Ajax, I mean, this guy's a proper leader. This guy takes responsibility. He has an insane work rate too. And I feel like this really gets the best out of him even more, because, you know, Ziyech can do a lot. And I think my frustrating thing when I see just how he plays, the speed in which he plays, you know, his ability to just read the game, you know, find runners, understand when to play the right parts at the right time. He gets let down by no one scoring from the assists he's making. I mean, in an alternative universe here, where we have no injuries, confidence has been remaining high forever, Ziyech has how many assists added to his game? It's disappointing for me, especially some of the cross balls he's making. Those crosses inside the box too, not getting found consistently enough because the players, you know, poor timing. And when it comes to getting on the end of these balls, poor finishing, you know, poor composure. And yeah, if I'm Ziyech, I'm frustrated, and you see it sometimes too. So again, for me, massive player. In my personal opinion, I see him as our best player. But I think now, to move on to a con, I have to speak about one thing that has constantly typified our season. It's the game management, and that comes from the byproduct of poor finishing. They go hand in hand. I'm sorry. You know, big clubs, your Bayerns, your, you know, clubs that have, you know, great finishes, like even Manchester United's, you know, they create opportunities like that, which they don't even do consistently. They are putting those efforts into the back of the net. And this means that they've won the game before the second half even starts. They've won the game before the 60th minute, allowing them to just play with no intensity, allowing them to sit back a bit, rest, and look to hit teams on the counter-attack. Now, during our incredible run, during the start of the season, this was exactly how we played. But ever since that, you guys, the finishing on goal has been awful. I'm looking at Tammy too, and yes, Tammy got a hat-trick today. A great hat-trick, and I'm going to speak about him later on. But, you know, certain times, key moments when you have to kill the game off. He missed opportunities, Mount did, Pulisic did as well, and a few others. And I understand now why Lampard constantly emphasises that even though these guys are great talents that cost a lot of money, you know, the reality is that you need a lot of experience at this level to be on that caliber, to take those decisive actions in the moment, to take responsibility to get those goals. That's how this game management works. The big teams, man, the big teams, they can win games easily in moments, and of course there's levels to get there. I mean, it just takes time. When you've got so many young players, I think that's only natural, in my personal opinion. But it's that one key thing out of anything, out of system, tactics, whatever, that you need to have absolutely patterned. You need to have secured if you want to be a team that wins things. Another con today too was Kepa Balaga. I mean, of course he made a mistake, and you know, I'm not going to be here smiling about that. Of course not. It's a bit of a shame how his confidence has never come back, to be honest. And you know, it brings up massive issues, man, when it comes to next season selling these guys off. Massive investments, won't be getting anywhere near close to the money we originally spent. That's only going to potentially impact the business we do, because, you know, we're forced to have to sell players now to be able to buy again. So, Kepa, man, it's frustrating. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this now. Two more things I want to discuss: Tammy Abraham and, of course, Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi. Now, with Tammy, underrated. You know, Tammy is the type of striker that is constantly offering you something in the game. You know, Tammy's ability to either, you know, play that withdrawn role, to play people in, to be a link-up man, to be a target man, to make runs in behind, to stretch the play. If this was Football Manager, you'd give him the complete forward role because he is in that mode. Now, of course, he's showing that potential. I mean, again, double digits of goals. This guy will forever be getting double digits throughout his career because he is a great striker. The first goal he scored, first time finish, of course, a great header too. For the second, and finally in the end, link-up play with Hudson-Odoi to put the ball into the back of the net. But you know, let's not pretend that there's still elements that we're seeing in this game where he can't improve. I think his finishing could be more decisive, and I think it will get there because Tammy constantly finds himself in these areas actually to affect the game and score. So this gives me the confidence that, you know, in a few more seasons, playing this type of way, improving, developing as a player, he is going to be a serious problem. And you know, Tammy, for me, there's a reason why when we've won games, a lot of times it's because Tammy is playing in the team, because other players also play better with Tammy Abraham too. So let's see if we see him and Werner playing against Wolves, or even Tammy and Kai. Let's see what happens. And to end with the final points, I have to speak about Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi. Now, last season, when Pulisic performed and, you know, showed his levels in the second half of last season, where he was very decisive, you know, his plays in the transition was key for him, was excellent, and he played a big part in us securing that top 4 finish. For Pulisic to get to those levels though, he was actually out the team. Lampard took him out, he used him as an impact sub, and over a few games as an impact sub, his confidence grew and grew and grew. And the reason why Lampard did that was because Pulisic was injured. And I look at this season, again, Pulisic with his injuries, it happens, what can he do? He's been forced straight back into the team, and I haven't seen any positive improvement in his play. I haven't seen him benefit the team too much this season whatsoever, and I do think it's time for Lampard to use the same methods he used last season that actually got the best out of him. I'm looking at Pulisic and, you know, he's kind of regressing slightly. The defending off the ball isn't too great. I feel like he was showing improvements in his hold-up play, putting this back to goal. Not really seeing that anymore now. And just the individualism. Sometimes it comes at the expense of his teammates. A few opportunities there were 1-2s he could play, so he could like skip in behind. But, you know, I just feel like he's not showing the form he was showing last season. And when Hudson-Odoi came on in this game, and in the space of no time, show that excellence that you expect, to be honest, you know, especially a top 4 level, came on, assisted Tammy Abraham after how long? And boom, the game was over. That is the difference, and this was something Christian was doing, and this was something that Christian was about during the second half of last season. So personally, I feel like it's time for him to find his form again by being an impact sub for now, where, you know, as an impact sub, there's more space to play. And I think space is what gets the best out of Pulisic, to be honest. Every time he does something good, it's because he's running with the ball in the transition, on the counter-attack. He's not really that type of guy that is like a playmaking winger. You know, he's more traditional. He's more like attack and get in the books and, you know, make things happen. I think with Hudson-Odoi personally, I think there's a reason why Bayern Munich have constantly been trying to get this guy. There's a reason why they wanted to even pay 70 million, because Hudson can do everything that, you know, a modern club would want. He has the playmaking ability, he's the link-up ability, you know, he's got so many different ways to affect the team and get past his man, and, you know, these things are key. You know, he's not traditional at all, he's very multifaceted, and because of this, you know, I see him growing even more, influencing games even more. And Hudson-Odoi for me is in that mold of your Grealishes, your Hazards, your Neymars, where if you play him down the left-hand side and, you know, play him in his best position, he will be able to run things over time. But again, of course, you got 2 talented, excellent players in Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi. But, you know, it's been the same energy for all these young guys. Impact subs and then form comes back. So I want to see that same energy again, because I don't want Christian to have a wasted season where, you know, the confidence will keep going down and down and down. So let's see what happens, you guys. But on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. I'm in EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.